Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, do not, and I repeat, do not adjust your television sets, the device you may be watching this interview on. In fact, Marko Stunt is sitting right next to me. Well, on screen. It's finally happened. I'm going to say it at the jump. We'll get it out of the way. This is my Holy Grail interview. The one, the only. Marko Stunt is in the building. How are you, first and foremost, my friend?
I am alive and kicking the best I can. I am living it up, I guess, as a now retired wrestler.
Yeah, I saw. So you and I had been kind of chatting here and there about getting this interview squared away, and times just haven't worked out. And then I saw the announcement. And so, first and foremost, the retirement. What I know, that had to have been an absolute devastating decision, because I've seen some past interviews, and obviously you're in the professional wrestling business because you love this business. How hard of that decision was it to come by for you?
Man. So it's something that I've been trying to avoid for a while, because I've been dealing with a lot of lower back issues, and I found out why now. But it's just something that I've been trying to put off. I knew it was bound to happen eventually, but I thought I could have a few more years in me, have one more good run, But I went to the doctor. They did a whole bunch of diagnostic tests and stuff, and looked into a whole bunch of stuff on me, and noticed that my right hip is rotating inwards. So it's and it's causing, I'm trying to remember everything. It's causing like my tailbone to be shifted off to the side. It's just causing a whole bunch of pain. And if I were to continue doing it, with how my hip already is, I will say I'm already short, right? I'm a small person. Yeah. But now my right leg.
You're as tall as you feel, my friend.
Right. Dude, but my right leg is, because of the hip thing, is shorter than the left now, which is a normal thing. It's very like a lot of people have shorter legs, one is shorter than the other. But that's the reason for mine. And it's gonna just continue to do that. So I don't have all the strength in my right leg anymore. I have a good amount of strength. Like, they caught it at a good time. Like, we caught it early enough to where I don't have to go have surgery next month or anything. Like, we're gonna see what we can do. But their recommendation was for my long-term health to step away, because there is that possibility of being paralyzed and stuff. So that was a wake-up call. Yeah. And I got a family now. Not everybody knows that, but I got a family now. Got a daughter. I've last 2 years have been a whirlwind of like great stuff, and obviously like there's been some not so great stuff that has happened, but like ultimately I'm in a great place in my life, regardless of having to step away from the ring physically. I'm happy where things are going. I'm happy where things are looking. I'm excited to have a family and to grow a family and to focus on that as much as I can, while still doing as much as I can with wrestling. So.
Oh yeah. Did you mentioned the family, and you have a daughter, which, by the way, congratulations. That's awesome. That's a huge thing, I think, for all of us, when we become fathers for the first time. I know for me, that did that have a big time impact on the decision? Would you have maybe, if you didn't have a daughter, maybe keep trying to push the wrestling thing a little bit more? Or was it like, you know what, family first, which is a respectable thing. I don't think anybody is knocking you for the decision you made, regardless of family or not. But did that take a factor into it?
Yes, 100%. I already have trouble like playing around with my daughter now at 4 months, and it like after a while my back's hurting, and so I don't want to. I don't want her to get older and want to play with her dad, and I'm not able to get down on the floor to play with her or go outside and ride a bike with her or whatever, or push her on a swing set. I don't want to miss out on all that stuff, and that was the reality of, if I were to continue, that's the type of stuff that I would be missing out on. So
yeah, definitely. And I can speak on it as the father. I wouldn't want to miss that stuff either. So I would respect the decision to walk away now. Now, you had mentioned too that this is something. Oh, I dropped my notes here. We don't edit that out. That's what I do. I drop things. You had mentioned that this is something that's been going on for a while now. Now, was this hip issue? Was that something that maybe, because you made your return to AEW this past summer? It was Money Weekend. I remember it vividly because my phone exploded. Because I don't know if you know this or not, Marko. I've been championing your name ever since you left AEW the first time. Every time there's a return, every time there's a debut in a new company, I always, on every podcast I've ever said, it's Marko. It's got to be Marko. I've been waiting for you to come back. Is that something, because then you got that itch to come back and then you started, stacking a few more dates, it kind of flared back up? Or is this something that's maybe been going on for a very long time that you were just trying to keep pushing to the back burner?
So it's tough. So I've had this like consistent pain. Like it's not always terrible for a while now. But I took 2 years off at least from in-ring action, and then came back, and I actually think if I had just continued, I'd feel better than I do now that I took the time off and came back and reintroduced my body to that type of
like physical activity, the ring rust, if you will, and then just getting acclimated to taking bumps and things like that.
Mm-hmm. And I just had a match last week. Had a match last week, and it was great. I had fun. My cardio's not the best as it used to be, not as good as it used to be. But it was fun. I felt good. But I woke up the next morning, and I felt it. And but I felt good mentally, and I was like, man, I know this hurts, but like I feel like I could keep going. And I had a doctor's appointment already, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna go. Let's see what this is like. And they told me all that, and talked to my family, and I was like, this is what they said.
Yeah. This
is what could happen. This is what I'm thinking. And they were fully supportive. I think it's a sigh of relief for them almost, because they already don't like seeing, like, they enjoy seeing me wrestle, but they don't enjoy seeing me wrestle at the same time, like with the physical stuff.
Is that because your style of wrestling is like you do the spots, you're paired up with the bigger opponent and you're taking that big bump or that, getting thrown into the crowd type deals? Is that part of the, fear for the family, or is it just the general? They're just like, it's just a sport that I just don't understand. How does that dynamic work family wise?
No, I think it's option A. I think it's definitely option A. We've watched wrestling my whole life. Me and my dad watched wrestling since I can remember. I've always watched and loved wrestling. and watched it with my dad. And so wrestling's always been in our household. But when I got into wrestling, I don't have like a super, like I can take a lot of stuff with my size. I feel like I can endure a lot, and I snap back pretty quickly usually, even if it does hurt. And so I kind of used that in a sense and let people throw me because I could just bounce back up because my body I was flexible and I could bend and snap and pop back up and they could throw me again and same thing would happen and I'd be okay and I'd feel good. I was 18 though and doing all that stuff.
All the things that we could do at 18 that we can't do now. Oh man.
10
I
years
tell you
later.
stories.
Goodness. But dude, I willingly let people do some crazy moves to me. And I don't really regret it either though. Because I mean it's part of who I am. It's part of what made Marko. And
was there ever one that you just were like, nah, I can't do that one? or was there ever one that you did and you're like, I can't believe we did that one?
Yeah, when I broke my leg.
Yeah, I guess that would be the one.
Yeah. And back in 2018, I was wrestling in LA and we did a spot that I had tried to disagree to a few times. And I don't even hold any grudges. My opponent thought it was going to look sick, but I was thinking, man, this could go wrong. And like something in my gut was telling me this is going to go wrong if we do it. And so I kept trying to switch it up, change how we did it. And finally I just gave in and snapped my leg in half doing the move. So I do regret doing that. And wish we could have done something different, but that type of stuff happens. I'm not angry at the person at all that did it or that was involved in it. He didn't do it. But
yeah, just something that happened between two of you that just not like a freak accident, so to speak, kind of deal. But
kind of.
Yeah. No, those are tough. Yeah, because you've been known to take some of those bumps, and then I watch it, and I respect that wholeheartedly about you. Is that you know your role, you play it so well. You're always seen like within the storylines. Obviously, I'm not behind the scenes and know what's going on, but it always seems like you are down to do whatever makes the angle or the segment you're in the best it can be, and I love that about you, and I think that's fantastic. Is there any moment that you've got to sit back for about a week or so, you've retired, that you look back fondly and go, you know, this was my favorite thing? Because you've been getting flooded with people, you know, posting their favorite Marko Stunt moments since you've retired. Has that brought up any memories of something where you go, you know what, this was one of my favorite moments I've ever had. This is something maybe I would have tried to do differently, but overall, what do you think about that?
I think immediately my mind goes to the match where Luchasaurus got hurt in the tag title tournament. And and it ended up being me and Jack versus the Lucha brothers. That was a huge night for me, even though there's always going to be those negative comments and stuff, and that happens, but the amount of love and support that I got after that night, it felt like something turned around for a minute there. And to be honest, the reason behind that has a lot to do with Luchasaurus. Is like Luchasaurus, and like both on screen and like off screen is literally, he's like a protector. Like he literally, and I'm being like, no work or anything. Like this is like, he looked out for me. He was always one of the ones, him and Jack both. But Luchasaurus was one of the main ones that made that tag match happen. He's like, no, let Marko do it. And dude, man, what could have been with Luchasaurus. But
What could have been with that whole Jurassic Express angle? If I can be honest, I've been in kayfabe mad at Christian Cage ever since he kind of took that over for himself, my friend. I thought you unceremoniously got the exit from that group because I thought you guys were really hitting your stride there.
I think I say this biasly, and I can't imagine how many people are going to disagree, but I firmly believe that we were one of the most dynamic groups in all of wrestling.
I agree. No argument here, my friend.
And honestly, I still think there could be something there, but that's just my brain goes into creative mode all the time, and so
yeah.
But yeah, no, Luchasaurus is a big reason for a lot of the stuff that I did. Him and Jack pushed for me like crazy because everybody says we were Jurassic. They were Jurassic Express. They were Jurassic Express, and I was with Jurassic Express. I was lucky to be with Jurassic Express. I loved being with Jurassic Express.
Yeah. And it looked like you guys had an absolute blast out there, the three of you, for sure.
I mean, we're like actual friends, so that it worked out to be able to go out there and just as friends go out there and be a team, because we're already a team behind the scenes, so it's easier to be a team on screen. And I still talk to both of them like quite frequently. They both reached out after I made the post and everything. And I talked to Luchasaurus for probably an hour on the phone. And it was a very good conversation. Yeah.
That's awesome. I know he's going through some hell stuff too, so I bet that was nice of him to reach out to you, and I bet you probably had some words of encouragement for him. That's awesome that you guys were able to stay friends throughout all that and were friends before. I think that does translate really well. To if you're friends with somebody and you get along behind stage, it's going to translate because you can tell sometimes there's a disconnect there. Now, you had kind of mentioned earlier some of the fans might think differently and they say some things. Now, your style of wrestling, we kind of alluded to it earlier. You know, you're a smaller guy wrestling big, and I hate to use the word comedy wrestling in a negative sense, but when you're on that screen and it's clearly people are going, oh, look at this that doesn't mean anything. That Marko Stunt's a gimmick wrestler, he's a joke. But you, again, like I said, played the spot so well. I think you need that break in your wrestling, because if it's always five-star classics or over the top super serious angles all the time, you're going to get kind of out from that. So how did you manage maybe that internet community, or maybe for somebody who's coming up in the wrestling business, maybe some advice for them on how to handle the negative side of things, knowing that you're doing your job, you're killing it. Like you said, Jack Perry, Luchasaurus, they're pushing for you. Tony Khan's putting you on TV, so obviously he's pushing for you. Is that enough to go, you know what, I'm doing the right thing here, I don't need to worry about these haters? Something, how do you navigate that?
Dude, online is not completely real. It is real, but it's not at the same time. It's a place where people are somebody they want to be, not who they actually are. A lot of times there's a lot of instances where I've literally had somebody that has talked crap on the internet come up to me and shake my hand, and like, it's cool, and I don't mind people can have their opinions. I don't care. Like, I got over that a long time ago. My advice though would be try not to read it. Do your promote yourself, post yourself, get out there, post with your friends, show what you're doing, show your moves, show your character. Character's so big, you need it, I promise. But you can't focus on those comments. Like, you can't focus on what people are just what they say about me this week. What's the negative thing they're saying about me this week? Now, don't get me wrong, there are people that actually make a career off that, and that's, hey, more power to you.
Yeah.
But I try to not look at it because I can be kind of sensitive myself. So
Well, that's fair.
I don't
I
I don't
mean,
want to
even
see it.
from I do the same thing. Sometimes I got to shut that comment section down or not even look at it because I go, it's wrestling, guys. Like, it's supposed to be fun. You're supposed to suspend your belief a little bit here. You know, it's okay to have some down. Not, I don't want to say again. I don't want to say it negative because I love it. I love comedy spots. My wrestling. I love the funnier sides. I love the idea of a Marko Stunt trying to take down a Wardlow or a Lance Archer or something. Because like if you do beat them, right, you're like, oh my god, holy shit, right? It's a cool moment. So we need that in wrestling and face those guys. And it didn't go, so to speak, but you did your job well. So I, for one, am Team Marko 100%. I don't care what anybody says. Fun. You need that in wrestling. But speaking of wrestling, we talked about the retirement. You said now you want to keep going in the wrestling space, and you are doing that with Pure Adrenaline Wrestling.
Yeah, pro wrestling adrenaline.
How did pro wrestling? I said pure. I'm sorry. I botched that. That's on me. That's on me. It's pro wrestling adrenaline. You had your first show last week. You wrestled.
That was our
now, how did that become to be? Fourth show. I thought it was the first.
No, it's the fourth. Oh. So yeah. No, it's all good.
Terrible to research here. I could have swore.
No,
it was the first one. But anyway,
we did 3 other little ones, but that was our biggest one for sure. That was our most promoted and everything. We're trying to step our game up. The first few were kind of like, let's see what this is about, and it was cool. But now we got a venue. We're bringing in film and cameras and everything. Like, we're gonna record the show. It's gonna go up. We're gonna have videos that are going up, like promo videos, not like your average I'm holding a cell phone type promo videos. No, we're gonna have like vignettes type stuff. Like we've already had these meetings with people and stuff, and all this is in the works right now. So we got a bunch of stuff coming up. And I'm super excited about it. I think for so long, I think a problem with me is I love to be creative. I love to think up new ideas. But while I'm wrestling, I can only think of so many ideas for myself, because you can't do a whole bunch of different things every single week, because then what are people going to latch onto? Then you're not anybody. You're just there.
Yeah.
So when I found who Marko was, I had to be. That's who Marko is. And yes, there are layers and like there are different levels, of course, to every character. But I forgot where I was going with this. My brain gets sidetracked easily. Oh, yes, I remember. But yes, so I get all these creative ideas. ADHD, we're good. Get all these creative ideas, but I can only use them on myself while I'm wrestling. And so with PWA, I can take these ideas and allow others to benefit from them, not just me. Like, I've been doing this 10 years. Yeah. I worked my dream job. I wrestled on national television for years, and I lived like I want to be able to give back what I've learned now, and I want to be able to still use my creativeness, even if it's not for me. Like, I don't want the shine. I want to showcase these other people that are here that need that shine more than me, that haven't had the opportunity that I've been able to have. These, like,
what do they say, that knowledge is as good as you pass it on to, right? So that's what you're going for here. Hells yeah.
Like William Regal reached out to me after I posted everything, and he sent me a long message, and I thanked him and everything, and the last thing he said was, no need to thank me. If there had not been somebody to guide me at 16 years old, I wouldn't been able to do the same thing for you. So pass it along. And that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do. And I think PWA is a place where I'm gonna be able to do that. Like, got a lot of stuff planned. November 15th
So are
is our
you
next show.
Are you the one running the promotion per se from like a figurehead app, or is it maybe like a collective group of a few of you?
Yeah.
Are you like the creative driving force there?
Yes. But I run it with my buddy Walker Hayes, who's a wrestler around here. He's been my best friend for years. Him and another guy, my other best friend Daniel. We all started together. Daniel moved away after high school and wasn't able to continue, but Clayton and I were able to continue. And Walker, his name's Clayton. Whoops. Walker and I were able to continue. And he's still wrestling. Does quite a bit around here, and we run the show together. There's a couple other guys that lend their voice as well. But we book the show, the venues, and everything. I do the behind the scenes stuff mostly. Like, I got us an LLC. I got the venue. I do all the like behind the scenes business stuff, and he does a lot of the creative. He makes all the graphics. He's very talented with that. He contacts a lot of the boys to book them, and he keeps up with numbers for me a lot, and just tells me what everything adds up to be and stuff. And he's very helpful on that end. So we got a good little team. I plan to grow it as we grow, because I there can't just be one mind involved, or else I don't think anything can work out with one mind. You got to let people be able to be creative as well and use their mind as well. So yeah. I want to be able to have PWA be that. I want pro wrestling to Adrenaline to be somewhere where people want to be, for one, and I want to put on a good show. Like, I want it to be something fun. I want people to want to watch Pro Wrestling Adrenaline.
Since it's in its early stages, like just for funsies, like fantasy, what is the ultimate, like what would be like the dream scenario for Marko Stunt at PWA future?
I would love to, so I got two different mini goals. I guess they're not mini, they're kind of big. One would be to take it on the road around, probably start off around the South and Midwest. But I would love to take it on the road eventually, within the next couple years, depending on how things go. But there's also a place here called the Lander Center, and it is it's where I wrestled Jack when I returned this year.
Okay.
It's that place,
okay.
But they have a I'm not trying to book that place. They have a ball. I wouldn't be able.
Why not? Go big. Why not?
If I can get if anybody wants to sponsor Pro Wrestling Adrenaline to book that, I'm all. Come at me. Anybody wants to jump on board? I will. I actually will take on sponsors right now. Hey, come on. But no, they have a ballroom, and it's huge. We could fit probably 1,000 people in there, if not more.
Yeah.
And I want to have a huge show there. I want to have like a. If we could even do it yearly eventually, that'd be cool. But they book those things out. They're already booked up for next year. I tried to actually look at the end of next year, so we could plan it and save up for it. But it's looking like it's gonna be closer to 27 before that happens.
Yeah. Hey, well, that's all right. We're gonna get those sponsorships rolling. We're gonna start the ball here. I was looking at the PWA merch online before this. That looks a hoodie for these colder weather seasons up here in the Midwest. But heck yeah. So before I get you out of here, because I know I've taken up a lot of time. You're a busy man. We've talked about a lot. I would be crazy to not mention your pipes, your voice, your singing. Where did that come from? Is that something that you just discovered as a young age, or did you go to school for that? And then, like, because you're quite the singer too, so you've got an option. You could go the singing route if you wanted to as well now in retirement here.
I have had a few talks with people, but I will leave it at that.
Okay.
I don't have anything planned at the moment, but I've talked to some people. Thank you though, for one. Thank you. I appreciate that.
No problem.
Singing, I guess, man. So I don't know when I realized that was a thing. I guess 8th grade. I started playing the guitar in 8th grade, and I would sing, but I didn't sing. And then I joined choir because the choir teacher came, and the high school choir teacher came my 8th grade year to the middle school, and excuse me, and she told me I was trying out. She had heard me sing.
Yeah.
Told me I was trying out. I didn't get a choice. I got a choice, but that she
that always feels good though, right? When somebody's like, "We need no questions asked. You're coming in."
Yeah. So I came in and I did the audition, and they put me in the advanced choir my freshman year, which is crazy. I didn't know what in the world I was doing, but I got in there, and it was the best part of high school. Like, I am proud to be a choir nerd. That, man, Jessica Contreras was the best teacher I've ever had. She was not just a teacher. She cared for her students. Like, she loved us like we were her children, and like a lot of the students called her mom. So she's who helped me discover my voice. That I had a voice, I guess. I knew I could.
Based on that. I'll say probably based on that description of her is probably why you stuck with it too.
Yeah.
If she would have been an awful choir teacher, you might have quit.
Yeah, that's a good point. She definitely made the biggest impact out of high school on me. I still think about her to this day and the stuff that she did for me, and it's amazing. But man, I love music. I came out of, I guess, starting in high school. I was part of the youth group, and I did youth group worship and everything. I got to play on stage, and I was like, any opportunity I could play music, I was like, let's go. And so I got to sing there, and I thought it was cool because you get to hone in on some stuff. Like, you get to hone in on your vocals and on your guitar playing. And a lot of great musicians started in the church choir or in the church band, and so I have a lot of respect for those people, and because I feel like you can learn a lot through that. And I felt like I learned a lot through that. I've learned the most probably in the last 5 years, though, probably.
Yeah.
So I've gotten really.
If you had to pick one musician or artist to collab with, if that was the goal to make a collab happen, who is it? Who are your influences in singing, in music, all that fun stuff? I'm sure that would wrap into one. If you're influenced by them, you'd work with them for sure, right?
I won the talent show in high school singing a Jason Mraz song. Yeah. So I know so many of his songs. It's insane. And I learned them on guitar. So that is like the style that I honed in on for some reason, but it's not even like my favorite genre at all. But I love it. I do. The thing is, I just love music in general. I'll listen to just about anything. Not anything, but just about anything.
What's the not anything then? You don't
That's
have
hard.
to. You don't have to disparage a genre here. We'll leave it there. You don't have to if you don't want to. Just if that's the short list, I want the short list.
Yeah, it is definitely the short list. I guess realistically, I will listen to anything.
Good music is good music, right? Like if it's good and they're talented, whether it's whatever genre list, you're going to go, they're talented people at what they do, right? So I think that's okay.
I have classical music. I have Nicki Minaj. I've got Michael Bublé. I've got Doja Cat. Man, I've got got Seether. I've got Creed. I've got Bon Jovi. I've got a whole bunch of different stuff. Michael Jackson, Bruno Mars. I mean, like Bruno Mars has one of the best voices ever.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'm not a big Bruno Mars guy, but when he comes on, I'm not disappointed because I'm like that dude is got some pipe. He's incredibly talented. Because like I said, like you can draw inspiration and ideas from all sorts of different artists and music, and it's kind of the same way in wrestling. You can draw inspiration wrestling wise from different avenues of it. And that's so yeah. So are we calling up Jason MRAZ? If we put this out there on the internet, we're Mr. MRAZ. If you're listening, come hang out with Marko. Let's make some magic happen here.
Dude, if that were ever the case, Mr. MRAZ, if you ever see this, I'm gonna tag you. I would love to sing with you. But yeah.
Yeah, let's make it happen, Jason.
If this happens, Pluggo, I will come give you a kiss. I don't know.
Done. Mr. A to Z. I'll have to run that by Mrs. Pluggo first, Marko, but I'm sure she would allow it.
I'll give you a little hug.
As I say. If we could make that happen, that would be awesome. But again, Marko, before I get you out of here, again, like I said, I wanted to keep you close. I know you're a busy man. Plug PWA one more time. You said you got a show coming up on the 15th that looks past the gravy, looks awesome. Yes. Tell the people where they can get tickets, find it, all that fun stuff.
Absolutely. So you can go to pwadrenaline.com. That is our domain. We got you can get to our PWA shop there, and we have our tickets link on there. It is so you can go and purchase tickets online, get there for our November 15th show. It is at 73 Chase Street in Byhalia, Mississippi. Good little town, but we're about to bring wrestling to the town, so yes. I'm excited for that. But it is called, excuse me, I just burped. It is called Pass the Gravy. We are bringing in lots of people, and I am super excited. We're gonna have some surprises coming up in the next few shows. I'll go ahead and tell you on here, we haven't released it yet, but we also have December 13th planned. We have it booked. We have January 17th. And we have February 14th, which is Valentine's Day. So that one's going to be fun. I can tell you that there is going to be a big main event in that match, in that show on the 14th, on the February 14th. So, but we got a whole bunch of stuff to go before then, stories to build, and it'll be fun. You'll have to come out to one, man.
That would be I'm an Indiana boy. I'm up here in Indiana, so I don't know how far Indiana
are you?
I'm South Bend, so I am Notre Dame country.
Yeah, me and my dad are going to the Indianapolis and Bills game next weekend.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's a couple hours from me. Yeah. So I'm not sure what the South Bend to Mississippi trek is like, but I would love to. I'm like, listen, it's been an absolute honor to get to talk to you. This was, like I said at the top, I'm not the type of interviewer that's like, act like you've been there before, because I haven't been. This was one that I absolutely wanted to make happen. So I would love to. And anything else that you got that you want to plug before we get you out of here, this is your stage. So if you want to plug socials, whatever it may be, do that. And then, like I said, anything that you do in the future, you know that I am always going to be there, as supportive as I can be. You are fantastic.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you. Yeah, you guys can go follow me on Twitter. It's at Real Marko Stunt. I'm not verified anymore. They took that stuff away, and I don't want to pay for it.
That's
I will
fair.
say PWA is verified. You can go follow PWA at PW Adrenaline on Twitter and at PW Adrenaline MS on Instagram. So you can find us there and keep up to date with us.
Definitely will do. I can't wait till those shows start coming out so we can watch them from the great state of Indiana.
These next few will be on YouTube for free. So
perfect. Loving it. Well, Marko, like I said, once again, my friend, thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for coming on. I know it's been a tough week for you, and I appreciate you carving out some time for little old me. And then, guys, like we said here, Love Wrestling, I'm Pluggo. You know where you can find me. I'm not going to sit there and bore you with all of it. You just search this face on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, all that. I'll pop up between two beards. All the cool stuff we're doing at Love Wrestling. Go to Love Wrestling CA for all that fun stuff. Until next time, friends, we're out. Peace.